Hey there, buddy. CFL Jim here with a Week 11 recap. Game number 1, we had the Edmonton Elks versus the Ottawa Redblacks, the battle for the basement of the CFL. This game was there's no nice way to put it, it was a shit show. It was sloppy. You saw it when the halftime commentators were pretending to take a nap. This game was a snooze fest, but that doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining in some aspects. I am wondering if for the Redblacks we see Nick Arbuckle next week. Caleb Evans, he has glimpses of excellence, but he's got just this offense needs something. They need something jump start of sorts to kind of get something going with them. Otherwise, the only thing the Redblacks have going for them, literally the only thing this team has, is a good defensive line, and that can only get you so far. The Edmonton Elks, they're corn dog. Taylor Cornelius, he plays with so much heart. He's got that dog in him. He's got that corn dog inside of him just waiting there, sitting there. And they're going to get wins against a team like the Redblacks. They're going to get maybe a win against a team like the Alouettes who can drop games. They're going to get a win against a team like the Argos who can drop games. They're going to get a win against the Ticats, but they're still firmly sitting as a bottom 2 team in this league. The nicest thing I could say about this is that it was a game. And with that, let's get into each team. For the Redblacks, what do you need going forward? Maybe you need Nick Arbuckle. You need something to just get this offense, get a spark under him to do something. Because you can't keep doing what you're doing. It's just not working. We've said it all year. You're kicking field goals when you should be making touchdowns. They do this more than any other team. They can even march down the field against a team like Edmonton who has a bad defense, but you just can't finish. It's embarrassing. Your defense can't hold up for an entire game when your offense is giving you nothing. For the Edmonton Elks, just keep playing with heart. Just keep doing it. Clean up your mistakes, and you'll be top of the bottom half. That's the nice thing I can say. The crazy thing about Ottawa, back to the Redblacks, is the East is so nuts that they're still technically in it. And they play a bunch of Eastern opponents, so who knows what can happen. If you clean up this offense, if Nick Arbuckle is the change that you need, the spark that you need to do this, you can still see some real cool things out of the Redblacks this season. But it's enough about this shit show of a game. Game number 2, we have the BC Lions versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders, with the BC Lions winning 28-10. This one started out as a slop fest, like a lot of BC games do. Nathan Rourke throwing many a pick. There was just pick central opening up the game. I think 5 interceptions within the first quarter. Just crazy. BC would throw it, Roughriders would give it right back. BC would throw it, Roughriders would give it right back. Just Cody Fajardo playing injured is just not what they need. So maybe we'll see Mason Fine going forward. Maybe this is like the turning point where we'll see a bunch of different quarterbacks starting, because at least with the Roughriders, Cody Fajardo with like half of an ACL is not going to give you the kind of mobility you'll see out of Mason Fine. And with how terrible this offensive line is, you might need that. The Saskatchewan Roughriders offensive line is maybe the worst unit out of any unit in the entire CFL. BC, they're unflappable. Nathan Rourke is unflappable. He could throw 6 picks. As long as they're still somewhat in it, he'll just come back and have 400 yards and like 4 touchdowns. The guy is unflappable, and I'm really hoping he's not out for long, because that injury, it's lower leg. I'm a little worried. BC fans should be worried, but I think he'll be all right. They need him to be all right. The CFL needs him to be all right. Football needs Nathan Rourke to be all right, because he's been probably the biggest story of this entire season for the whole league. He's been the breakout star. He's my Canadian of the year still, and I'm hoping for a speedy recovery for Nathan Rourke. Takeaways for each team. Or the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You need to hope Mason Fine's a little bit more mobile. You need to do something about this offensive line that's just terrible. And really it. You're a mid-team until you do something about this offensive line. For the BC Lions, just pray to God. Pray to all the football gods out there that Nathan Rourke is okay. That's really all you can do at this point. You just need to pray to all of your football gods out there that Nathan Rourke is fine, that he's recovered, And if he is out, it won't be for more than a couple weeks because your Canadian football Jesus needs to be here for you guys to do anything, in my opinion. On to game number 3, we had the Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the Montreal Alouettes, with the Alouettes eking it out 29-28. This game was a battle. I think Matthew Schlitz is good. I think he's as good as a Schlitz on a nice, warm Thursday afternoon. That's what I think about Matthew Schlitz. I'm interested in what Hamilton's going to do once Dane Evans is back, but I think Schlitz is a good mid-quarterback to kind of get you. He's a good transition quarterback, just like Dane Evans was for Jeremiah Masoli last year. It's an interesting thing. Maybe Hamilton just needs to rely on backups. Maybe that's what they need to do, because they were in this game the entire time. It really came down to a fucking rouge. It came down to a 1-point game that, I don't know. In my opinion, if you're Hamilton, you can't let a team drive down the field and kick a field goal with less than a minute left. That's the big takeaway from this, is Hamilton's defense actually let them down, which is surprising because it's usually been the thing that's been carrying them through the entire season. And that just this was a must-win game if you're a Hamilton Tiger Cat. For the Montreal Alouettes, I still don't know anything about this team. They're an enigma wrapped in a mystery, bow tied with a question mark. That's how I describe the Montreal Alouettes. I understand this team 0 out of 100. That's how much I understand this team. They are crazy. Anything can happen. They could beat Winnipeg one week, and they could lose to Ottawa the next week, and honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised. This team is all over the spectrum. Takeaways for each team. Hamilton, better coaching, I guess. Just do better. Montreal, just keep being crazy. You're embracing it, and I'm here for it, Alouettes. You're embracing that crazy Frenchness. And I think it's going to get you places. Fourth and final game, we had the Calgary Stampeders taking on the Toronto Argonauts, with the Stampeders winning 22-19. Another sloppy game. And guess what? I think we've seen the last of Bo Levi Mitchell. Bo Levi mid-chill, as I've been calling him. He's good enough, but he's not good, you know? That's how I describe Bo Levi Mitchell. Good enough, but not good. And I think you're going to have a lot more play with the backup. This game was bleh. And for the Argos, I want more Swag Kelly. Whether you bring him in on a couple drives or have him run it in, more Swag Kelly means I'm going to be watching more. The Stampeders' defense is great, and that's going to keep him in a lot of games, but Bo Levi Mitchell's not the guy. He's just not. And I think we found that out this week. I think we found out that you need to spice things up a little bit. You need to throw in a little cumin and paprika and spice up the kitchen that is that quarterback room in Calgary. Takeaways for each team. Calgary, like I just said, quarterbacks. You need to spice it up. Go to a nice Indian restaurant. Look up the spices they have and use some of those in your quarterback room. Bo Levi Mitchell is the mayonnaise of quarterbacks. For the Toronto Argonauts, more Swag Kelly, just get a little weird with it. Just embrace the weird, kind of like Montreal is doing. You just got to embrace your weird. You're another team that's all over the place. You're wild. You're crazy. You're still sitting on top of the East, but you're weird. And I would fully embrace the weird. That does it for Week 11. Let's get into some power rankings. The CFL Jim power rankings for the CFL Week 11 of the CFL. This is the CFL power rankings that you should care about, CFL. At number 9, I have the Ottawa Redblacks. They're lost. Their offense is terrible. Their defense is all right. Their defensive line is good, but that's all they really have going for them. Number 8, I have the Elks. Still haven't impressed me enough to bump you up to number 7, but number 8, you're a solid number 8. You are above the Redblacks. It's not even like close. This game really decided that, in my opinion. Number 7, I have the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Just poor coaching. This game was you had it won, and you just let it go. It's not good. Not a good look. Number 6, I have the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Again, this offensive line is maybe the worst unit in all of the CFL, and with a hobbled Cody Fajardo, I might even put them below the Ticats. But if you have Mason Fine in there, if you have a decent Cody Fajardo, then you're still at number 6. At number 5, I have the Montreal Alouettes. complete chaos, complete just wildness. So you're perfect for number 5. At number 4, I have the Argos. You can flip-flop those teams anytime you want, and I honestly wouldn't be upset in the slightest. At number 3, I have the Calgary Stampeders. Their offense is what keeps them below the other 2 teams. At number 2, it's the BC Lions. I really hope Nathan Rourke's okay, but this team is still good enough to be number 2 in my mind. They have the weapons at receiver. They have a defense that's been getting better throughout the season, and I think they're a really solid number 2. At number 1, it's still the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They didn't play this week. They still stay number 1. It's pretty easy. That'll do it for Week 11. We're on to Week 12. It's going to be crazy. Oh. The season's about to get nuts, folks. Labor Days are coming, and I, for one, am excited for some more crazy CFL action.